The Home Affairs Minister Jason Clare has expressed concern for the safety of ships going to the rescue of desperate asylum seekers. Follows an incident earlier this week. Our political correspondent Melissa Clark joins us now from Parliament House. Melissa, what happened during this incident?
Well, this is very concerning, and clearly the Home Affairs Minister Jason Clare is very concerned about it. He's described it as aggressive behaviour by asylum seekers towards the crew of a merchant ship that came to rescue them when their boat got into trouble not long after leaving Indonesian shores earlier this week. I'll let Jason Clare explain the situation as he described it to the ABC earlier this morning.
We had a call from a vessel in distress off the coast of Indonesia. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority put out a call to merchant vessels in the area. A merchant vessel arrived, picked up 67 asylum seekers, then began a journey to Singapore, its destination. When the asylum seekers on the boat found out about this, they became very aggressive, and the master of the ship made the decision to turn the vessel around and head to Christmas Island.
So that's Jason Clare, the Home Affairs Minister, and he went on to say that it shows how dangerous it can be when you have people in a desperate situation. And he said that it shows how difficult it could be to tow boats back or turn boats around, as the coalition would like to do, when you have, in this situation where people are being rescued, but nonetheless are apparently then threatening the crew when they feared they weren't being taken to Australia. So that's certainly a concerning development from one of the most recent ships, most recent boats to leave Indonesia heading for Australia.
And so where is the government's legislation on restoring offshore processing?
It's in the Senate at the moment. Debate started yesterday and is going to continue on this morning. The government is hoping that will get to a vote in the Senate this afternoon, so that will mean it will have been through both houses of Parliament and can then become law. But the fact that it hasn't yet passed the Senate hasn't stopped the government from acting on this anyway. This morning we've got planes leaving filled with government officials from Defence, Immigration, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Customs, and they're on their way to both Manus Island and Nauru to start the scoping work on how quickly and where precisely they can set up temporary accommodation for the processing of asylum seekers, even though the legislation hasn't even passed through the Senate yet. They're hopeful that they can have it up and running within a month, is how quickly they think they can do it, at least on Nauru. And that's the government's moves ahead of more permanent facilities. So it shows the urgency with which the government is attaching this.
And the government's manufacturing task force will also hand down its report today.
This is something that was started in 2011 by the Prime Minister over concerns about how the manufacturing sector was going, given the high Australian dollar and the competition for workers that really the mining sector and the resources sector was winning and creating more trouble for the manufacturing industry. There were a lot of job losses, particularly in the auto sector, that prompted the government to set up this task force. Now, they've been working together, the unions, industry lobby groups and some of the large businesses in Australia, to come up with some ideas for government, and they're handing over those recommendations this morning. Unions are looking for recommendations that involve procurement policies, mandating use of local content and local products, and buying policies, whereas businesses are looking for tax breaks, tax concessions, and also access to finance and assistance in that sector. So we can expect the government to take those recommendations today and respond within a few weeks.
Melissa Clark in Canberra, thanks very much.